YouTube? It's your boy Zig the Goat. Walking a big dog, swimming with the fishes. Nah, I'm playing. But had to get my boss man D-Lo on real quick. But anyway, like, comment, subscribe. Comment section if you like boss man D-Lo. I think that man is a little weird, a little crazy. But if you're a fan of him, go ahead, like, comment, subscribe. Put your favorite verse, your favorite song, from that man, boss man D-Lo. But anyway, let's get into the video, man. So, we got today Nick Saban, El Goto himself. Nick Saban, El Goto himself. This is the Nick Saban coach build. Now, with these coach builds, if you're new to the channel, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. We also got a Urban Meyer. We also got a Coach Prime. With these coach builds, it's really just me filling out like who the person was as a coach, doing some research on like their best characteristics, how people, really think about him. So like some people may say he was a player's coach or whatever the case may be. So I kind of take all of that and then kind of make it into NCAA. So a lot of times it's just my best judgment. But hey, if you got stuff that you would have put on them, or if you got other stuff, or it's just, things that you would have added, comment. Like, it doesn't matter, man. Like I said, these are all just random since we don't have these built on the game. So, this is just me, giving y'all some content and, making the best coach possible I can. So, with all that out of the way, we are also at 940 subscribers. So make sure we get 10 subs, 50 likes, and I'll drop the Pete Carroll build. So that'll be 10 subs, 50 likes, and we drop that Pete Carroll build for y'all boys this week as well. So let's get into the build, man. Anyway, so when you talk about Nick Saban, I wanted to make sure we got this name, that program builder. That's what he is. He's a program builder. That's what he is, man. He's a program builder. He built Alabama up to be a powerhouse. And with this build, it's the most balanced build you can have while getting everything you want. So when I explain it and go through each one, you'll realize like you're getting a lot of stuff in this build. And that's what Nick Saban was. Because he's the GOAT, I try to make sure he gets so many attribute boosts and everything that it's like, it's a very balanced coach. He really can do everything. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'll try to do. So we're going to start off in recruiting. So as you can see, you can't do a Nick Saban build without having recruiting. So I decided to do receiver, offensive line, and then the defense. So he's known as a defensive coach with his schemes and things of that nature. So I wanted to make it more of a defensive heavy build. But he does recruit receivers very well at a high rate. When he was at the beginning of his time, he did recruit running backs really well. I mean, you had like Kamara, Derrick Henry, Mark Ingram, Najee Harris. So, I mean, he did recruit running backs pretty good. But I just feel like with today's age, today's game, he also had receivers like, Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, Devonta Smith, Julio Jones, the list goes on and on. So, and now Ryan Williams. But, so I just decided to do receivers, and then like blocking was for because he loves the trenches. Like, Nick Saban always going to have an offensive lineman. He's always going to make sure he recruits the biggest and the strongest offensive lineman and defensive lineman in them trenches. You know what I'm saying? So trench work was definitely needed for this build because that's where Nick Saban lived. He always believed that you can control the trenches, you can win a game. So that's why I went with the receivers and the offensive linemen, and of course defense everywhere because that's what he did. He's known for his defense. His defenses were top 5 in the country as long as he was there because of the schemes and everybody who had it on the team. So then, just to make it worth it, you just do a lasting impression. I know some people like upsell, but upsell is just the school grades on that player in that position. School grades matter. If you didn't have the greatest team, you could do upsell because then you have like the grades you do have good would mean more. But like I'm at Alabama, so it's like I don't really need an upsell. They know where it's at. Alabama, they know where to come to. So I just did lasting impression on the same stuff I did Elite Recruiter on. But you'll get a recruits. I mean, of course, he didn't recruit quarterbacks. I mean, they were good, but we see what they did in the NFL. So you'll still get quarterbacks, obviously. I mean, just because you don't have the extra points, you'll still get quarterbacks, you'll still get running backs. But it's just not the focus of the team. You know what I'm saying? Alabama had all the talent around the quarterback, so the quarterback didn't have to be amazing. And that's kind of how I built this build. It's like, we don't really care about the quarterback because if everything else is going to be 99, the quarterback going to play good regardless. So that's kind of how I made this build. Now, we're going to go to tactician. So, when you got a recruiter build, now we get some tactician as well. So I went ahead and, we upgraded that offensive line, like I said, because it's all about the trenches, upgraded the defensive line, and then we upgraded everything on defense. So everything on defense is getting a boost, plus the offensive line trenches. And yeah, same concept of he's a defensive coach, but he plays in the trenches. So we went ahead and boosted all of the defensive players and also did some blocking. Now, if we had some more points or if I wanted to do more things, I was going to give him pass game defense or ground and pound defense just to boost to that like whole defensive mindset, defensive coach. But yeah, I feel like it wasn't worth the points. 64 points plus opening it up. It wasn't worth the points for what you're actually getting. But if you wanted to be more of a scheme guru with Nick Saban, you could definitely did the pass game and ground pound defense if you wanted to. That's just some other stuff. But I just stuck with just the basic boosting all my players and all of my trenches. So then we moved to Motivator. And Motivator, we just did pay it forward. So this build is all about getting players drafted. So for D-line and secondary, we get an off-season training boost. I wish I could have got the linebacker training boost, but it is what it is. The points weren't pointing, so I could have did that. So if you want that extra point for the linebacker training boost, go ahead and add it to it. Take something off, take the running back off, and just do that right there. But really what I did here is I just wanted to make sure that everybody had pay it forward, because when you make this build, you're going to get a lot of top 5, top 10 classes. So you're going to get a lot of great players. So every time you get players drafted, you're going to get that XP for your team. So this is just kind of the building that powerhouse mentality. So because we paying it forward, because, we getting XP for getting players drafted, we want the best players to come. So like now it's kind of like it's a system. Hey, you may not play the first 2 years, and like if you know Nick Saban and you know his era, then you'll know that when in the prime of the Alabama era, people were only playing 1 or 2 years. They would come to Alabama, they would redshirt, they would just sit on behind the bench, and then you would play for 1 year, maybe 2 years if you get lucky, and then you go to the league. So this is kind of the same concept I wanted to do. Hey, you come in here to get XP for your offseason, to redshirt. You're going to get boosted because people are getting drafted, and then when it's your turn to play, it's just that revolving door. So that's kind of what I did here. So the running backs, the receivers, and O-line all get that XP on top of the D-line, secondary, and linebackers getting that XP. And then also, like I said, with the all-season training boost, just boosting the D-line and the DBs a little bit more. But yeah, I could have took this off running back and just put it on linebacker. But like I said, just trying to create that concept of Alabama was a revolving door talent, and pretty much everybody's getting XP just because the team is so good. So that's what I did in Motivator. Talent developer, again, preaching on the fact that it was a revolving door. It was a revolving door. So what I did was with receivers, O-linemen, secondary linebackers, and D-line, I did everything up to low-rated defense line will progress faster. Why? Because the better your backups are, by the time they become starters, they'll be super elite. Like, we don't need star makers because 9 times out of 10, they're already going to be 80, 90 overall anyway. So I felt like I wasn't going to waste that extra point. But if I made all the bench players get XP as quick as possible, when they redshirt, they'll progress faster. If they do end up playing early, they'll still be better than what they would have been. So this is kind of keeping that same fact of, hey, we building a factory here. Whoever's starting this year is cool, but we're going to make sure our worst players are just as good as our best players. So, using this whisper for each position, you pretty much guaranteeing that even if you don't recruit the 5 stars at running back, at receiver, O-line, D-line, even if they're 3-star players, you still going to get that progression, and you still going to make sure they're ready to play. And, this is only like year 4 or 5, so like you can start seeing it, and I can show you the team after this too, if y'all really care, just to kind of see like how everything's starting to develop and everything. But yeah, man, so again, he built a NFL factory. It's about going to the league, and it's about progressing as good as you can so you can play 1 or 2 years. So this is kind of what this build is. It's just getting surplus talent, building them up, and then when they get to play that 1 or 2 years, go to the league. So that's talent developer. And last but not least, it's not a Nick Saban build without program builder. And of course, we went with relationship builder and strong roots because, it's just the best 2 recruiting things. So this just like on top of everything I'm doing in recruiting already, this just guarantees that will always get good recruits, guarantees that will always get the best players and run our pipeline. So that is pretty much the build. Like I said, it's big on recruiting, but it's also big on talent development. You know, with the motivator and the talent developer, we focusing on that NFL factory, but then we also got that big recruiting chunk to make sure that you feel like Nick Saban. You're going to get all the top 5 recruiting classes. You're going to get all the players that come, but you're still going to get that XP from drafting people and that XP from building up talent. So, you know, I think it's a very balanced build. I think it speaks a lot to who Nick Saban was. He was a defensive coach, but he was able to recruit all positions. And then I can just show y'all where we at right now with the team. So as you can see, 94, 95, 94. As you can see, like, this is kind of like what I was saying too. So you see like sophomores, 80 overall. You see sophomores 86, 95. You know what I'm saying? So like you see 90, 90, 89, 88, 80. So you can see kind of how that low rated. You know, all these people have been redshirted, but like, look at them now. So like this is gonna be the same jump I expect for the freshmen. Like they'll all be 80 overall-ish next year. So, you know, as you can see, again, freshman, that's 86, sophomore, that's 84, you know what I'm saying? So that's what we're building here. You know, we're making sure that, you know, the backups can come in and play if needed. So sophomore, 85, you know what I'm saying? So this is what you get when you got that talent developer. You know, look, 91, you know what I'm saying? And that's kind of what we were trying to build, 86 freshmen, you know what I'm saying? It may not be your turn, but when it is your turn, go crazy. You know, we got some seniors here. We got a sophomore that was 93. You know, senior, junior, 94s, all these are 92s, you know what I'm saying? So you see the vision, and I just wanted to go through it. So 390 DBs, and I'm redshirting players. So, like, you see the vision of, hey, the backups can become starters, the starters can become backups, senior, that's 99 speed, you know. So I just wanted to show y'all the vision and kind of show y'all, like, hey, it's a revolving door. You get in, we get you. You redshirt a couple, you redshirt a year. You may not play, but guess what? Now you're gonna be 95 by the time you start playing. So that is the build. You know, like, comment, subscribe on the video. Remember, we need 10 subs, 50 likes. You know what I'm saying? If we get to 950, you know what I'm saying? These are big milestones, man. You know, I wouldn't have never thought that 940 people would really mess with my videos and my content. So I want to thank y'all for everything so far. You know, that y'all have done with me and this channel, man. And, you know, I've been just trying to give y'all great content and be different than what you're seeing on YouTube right now. So, man, like, comment, subscribe on the video, man. Like I said, I appreciate all the love and support. Like I said, 50 likes or 10 subs, and I'll drop the Pete Carroll video. And yeah, man, and I'll drop that Pete Carroll video for y'all. So, it's your boy Zay the Goat, man, and I'm out, man. Y'all boys have a good day.